Bada bing.
So is it live on like everything?
Yeah, so it's live on TikTok. There's live on Instagram. It's live on Facebook. It's live on a few places right now.
Your smile.
So
Get to unmute before you
yeah, while we're gonna click it, we're good.
So
yeah.
how does this work? Are we just doing
Yeah, we're just gonna shoot the shit. So first of all, thank you for tuning in right now, everybody on the CSC. Yeah, live right now. We've got Jay from Mojo Sports. I've had the pleasure of running into you a few times now. We're at the Toronto Sports Cars Expo. For those of you who don't know where we're at, it should be in the description somewhere. Actually, right over there, the bottom left-hand corner, right-hand corner for you guys. There's a few things I wanted to ask you. Number one, I mean, this is the second time you're at the Expo, correct?
Second time.
Second time. What made you come back?
Man, I love the community here. I think that there's so many passionate collectors, and the kids here obviously love collecting, and everyone's super inviting. And I couldn't pass it up, man. I like the vibe here. It's different than an American
Is
show.
it?
Yeah.
That's funny. There's I feel like once people come for the first time, they continue to come. Like I've seen like Troy come from David Adams a few times. Kyle comes here all the time, and it's nice to have like you as a mainstay as well for this show. As someone who buys a lot at these shows, how have you seen buying at this show and at the last few shows? Has it changed at all with people talking about the economy and sports cards in general?
Yeah, I'd say we're in an adjustment right now, but it's also been a really great time to pick up a lot of cards that I wanted to own.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is an adjustment, but at the same time, the adjustment benefits the collectors and all of us, the community.
Yeah.
And I'm in it long term, so it's like I've been in cards since I was 14 years old. So at some level, the last 15 years, it's always been kind of up and down.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. I think that the people who really rely on like short-term flips, it's like it might be a little bit more challenging for them, but I think that a lot of those people are genuinely passionate about collecting in general, and with where we're at in terms of like sports card content, I think that there's a huge opportunity here to just like actually showcase like PC cards, to showcase like experiences, a lot of the stuff that you've already been doing on your channel.
Yeah.
So I feel like for you it doesn't really change very much. You just came back from Dallas? How was it?
Dallas was really good. We bought a lot.
I saw that, man.
Yeah,
Was it 17K?
yeah, 17,000. Bought that guy out. Some good.
Is that your
prices
biggest
on
bio?
that. No, I've done a couple where we've spent overall close. I think the most I've ever spent at a show was 55,000. But it's just that was when prime time COVID, 2021. There was a lot more cash flow. I tied a lot of my money into safer cards, like a Jackie Robinson that I have at home. So there's a lot of cards I have that I don't bring to shows that I basically use that money and just deposit them into cards that I don't really show on the internet, and two, I just kind of just have as placeholders. It was basically 3 years of COVID building it up. So
to those individual cards that you own?
Yeah, there's a couple individuals that I really like. Yeah.
I feel like that's the way to go too, especially when it comes to you're talking rare, high-end vintage baseball, right? What are some other cards you own, like the big ones? You're pensive.
I don't know. I don't know. I just have some oddball stuff that I really like that I think is it'll hold value in the future when things are moving and companies are moving around. So I got some cool stuff.
I love it. Have you seen the PSA setup yet?
I did see the PSA.
Yeah?
PSA in Canada for the first time. I think that's amazing because I was talking about with them, a lot of collectors here to ship over to the States is very risky.
Yeah.
And I think
it's gotta go over through customs, right? On top of that, it's it's a far journey. I mean, usually when I ship the PSA, it's probably a week, 2 weeks. So imagine your high value. Some of your most prized possessions are gone and just in transit for 2 weeks.
It's such a luxury for us to have. For me at least,
you're in California, right?
Yeah, to drop PSA.
You literally walk in there.
Walk in there. Yeah,
You
it's pretty
fucking
crazy. I didn't realize it until they started mentioning it, and I was like, man, I didn't realize how tough customs could probably be on a collector in Canada, let alone anywhere outside of the United States.
Not to mention there's literally fees attached to when they, not necessarily when they come back, but I know other grading companies, when I send stuff to SGC, for instance, one of the reasons why I don't regularly is because they don't declare that it's returning back to me. They don't that is my item, and so whatever the actual value of the cards I'm shipping to for insurance purposes, I get hit with essentially a customs fee when it crosses back over the border. So I'm like, man, this is wild.
Yeah, it's like a late fee or an extra fee plus no insurance.
Exactly.
Because I think at the end of the day, everyone wants security and transparency when it comes to grading and just in cards. You want your cards to be taken care of. So and especially if collectors, we're pretty neurotic about the way things are stored.
I mean, that's
and
what
how
collecting
things
is
are-
all about.
Yeah. So it is a system for sure.
That's funny. When did you arrive?
I got in yesterday. So I started at 4:30 in the morning from California to Dallas, and then Dallas to here. It's about 6 hours of travel. It's just the time difference.
Yeah.
So whenever I go home, it's nice because the time goes back.
Yeah.
When I go
gain
forward,
like a whole day.
I lose a day, man, traveling.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
And then customs, got to go through all that. That
That's
actually
true.
wasn't that bad.
You're one of the few people with a passport, man.
I
don't know
know.
what's going on with people in the States. They just don't have passports.
You know what's funny? Do you know I originally got a passport because I went to Mexico City and I went to Cuba.
Yeah.
And then it's
really,
crazy.
and that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
shunned in the States too, isn't it? Like it's not exactly like people don't really go to Cuba.
No, you
in the
can't really go
States.
to Cuba,
Yeah.
but that was the original reason. My girlfriend and I went to Mexico City and we're like, let's go to Cuba. Like, we would never be able to do
Yeah.
this. Like, let's do it. And it's crazy because that passport is coming in clutch. I wouldn't be here because I hadn't, the last time I had to really use my passport was, I went to the Middle East to visit my dad's
Oh,
family.
really?
Yeah. Stayed there for 3 months when I was a kid. And then passports last for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
I didn't renew it since.
Wow.
Like, my passport's like a picture of my last one was like, I was 13 years old.
Really?
Yeah, so dude, I was telling him yesterday, I went from where I was in cards to where I'm at now. Like, if you would have asked me 15 years ago, I'd be in Canada at a card show
I know.
talking about cards with
I
you
know,
or
I know.
something like this. Like,
I know.
we're so overpaid, man. It's
Yeah.
like we get to do this every time. It's like the community, like, as much as people say it's adjusting, dude, it wasn't cool to collect. From 2009 to 2013, I used to get made fun of. People would bully me. My friends would, my high school classmates would tell me, why do you collect LeBron James? They criticize me because the Kings suck.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it wasn't cool. So, like, I think when people talk bad about cards, you got to realize, like, it was not even close to, like, how big it is now versus what it was. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's absolutely longevity for this hobby is insane.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. I literally I made a post this morning because like every time I go to one of these shows, I feel like it's like self-reflection. You know, like I'm like it's at the same time pretty much every year. It's like a great way to kind of like look back on where you're at and like how you got here. And I was like, find something that you're passionate about and just find a way to like make that like your life. You know what I mean? Like in so many ways. I mean, you definitely have. I've done that as well. Where like all these opportunities are possible because we're so passionate about collecting, whether it's like cards, whether it's like jerseys, shoes, whatever the case may be. Like these shows are so wonderful because they bring all these people who are so passionate about these things. Unfortunately, like we happen to be like vessels and like voices for all these people, and so there's never a moment that goes by where I'm not grateful for like all the opportunities that just being so passionate about something has given me, and it's like crazy. For me, it wasn't like where was I 15 years ago? For me, it was almost like where was I 5 years ago? And like I can't even imagine the fact that like I'm at a card show, literally sitting across from you, streaming live on several different platforms. Going to meet Mike Tyson at some point in the next few days. Like that to me is just so surreal. And I mean, if there's one thing that you guys can take from this stream is like, you just find something that you like to do, that you love to do, in fact, that you talk to your friends about all the time, or you wish you could talk to more people about, and just continue to do that. And I'm not saying necessarily go all in, but if you do go all in, I mean, we live in the most wonderful time of the internet, where anything is possible. You can be seen by absolutely anybody, and the conventional job titles don't really exist. Do you know what I mean? Like they do, but they don't. You can do whatever the hell you want if you're passionate about something. So I mean, I appreciate you for always being a testament to that.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate those good words, man. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Man. No, that's good.
The Deion Sanders speech, right?
The thing is, like, in this community, ever since I've been a part of it for a long time, but the last 3 years has been, like, the relationships you get to build here, and, like, it's like a strength in numbers. Like, people grow together here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not I'm gonna grow and go this way. It's like I'm gonna take you and let's grow together.
Yeah.
I'm not into the competition thing.
Yeah.
I just know that, like, I love doing this.
Like, how can you compete?
And I want to be with
if
people
you're
that
doing
love
your thing?
doing this
Yeah.
thing just as much as I do.
Yes.
That's the best part about the shows is you're with people that love this thing either more or just as much as you do.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, just think about like, the more you do it, the more you want to include more people. Like, I have a good friend of mine who likes cards and sees how passionate I am, and like, I recently got him to like start shooting content for me. Like, and so I'm like, now there's like literally a job opportunity opened up for like, I want to bring you around. I mean, I'm sure like you're photographers as well. Like you like close bonds with them, right? Like, I just think that the more you build up your house, like the more you can bring more people in, and you're like, man, now we're rocking.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, man. Are you gonna buy any hockey cards while you're here?
I am. This Connor Bedard guy that everyone's talking about. I'm gonna buy one card.
Did you see what he did yesterday?
No, what do you do?
4 points, man. 2 goals, 2 assists. The price went up.
Price went up.
Price went up.
That $500 short print's now.
Price went up.
Gosh.
Price went up.
Yeah.
We got Kyle here too. What's going on? He's up next.
Give me that foot. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, buddy? Hey, look.
Yeah. This is where we got next guest over here, Kyle.
Are you next?
Yeah.
All right, take notes.
Yeah, exactly.
He's asking hard questions.
I don't want hard questions.
No,
we're
you're
good.
good.
So if you, first of all, where can people find you?
So we're Mojo Sports LLC on Instagram, Mojo Sports on YouTube, and what else? We got Twitter. We got Whatnot. We got our Whatnot card show coming up. Mojo Sports on there.
When's the Whatnot?
Next Saturday, 5 p.m.
And you're going to be bringing cards from here?
I am going to be bringing cards from here. I was thinking about buying only hockey cards this weekend, but I feel like that could be a yikes.
Well, I mean, especially it depends on what your market's like.
What advice do you have for me? What hockey cards should I buy?
Well,
Here.
that's tough, man. I mean, the stuff that's liquid everywhere is like McDavid's, Crosby's, the GOATs. I mean, you got Ovi, Gretzky, maybe some Austin Matthews in there, Jack Hughes. It really just depends on, where in the hype cycle you want to be buying stuff. I mean, Connor Bedard stuff's going to move for sure. But like I said, the price went up since yesterday.
At least he's doing well, because I remember Alexis Lafreniere.
Yeah.
I had his Young Guns, and I sold a lot of his cards. Bro, they were like 1,100 to 2,000. I was grading them and selling them.
Wow,
but
so
I had
you were actually eating during
no
that
attachment
time.
to that guy at all.
Yeah.
That's why it was so easy for me to sell. I'm like, I can make $700 profit.
Yeah.
But now that guy, I don't know what he's doing.
He has his Young Gun's like $30.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It's scary.
Absolutely hanged.
It's scary.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite hockey team? You're allowed to say no.
No, but I like the players. Like I don't know. I've always liked like Crosby, McDavid, and Patrick Kane.
Nice.
I mean, I went to the 2019 NHL All-Star in San Jose.
Really?
I met Patrick Kane, McDavid, and Crosby in one day.
Wow.
Yeah, I got them to sign jerseys too.
How did that happen?
So they were staying at this team hotel, and my buddy actually a couple of my buddies get autographs, and one of my friends worked with one of the teams. He let me stay in this area, and then just introduced me to each of them.
Fucking nuts.
And
Did you get autos?
Yeah, I got them signed. I had jerseys for all of them.
No.
Yeah. Crosby was the coolest one though.
So you got signed jerseys right now?
Yeah.
They're just sitting in your house?
Yeah, that's the thing I was telling you. Some of my really prized stuff is stuff I got signed myself. So
I'm a big signature guy too, especially jerseys, man.
I love jerseys. I love getting them signed myself though.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part.
Yeah.
Like when I got Crosby, he was super cool. I told him to sign the jersey, and he was I asked him to sign the 7, but he said it was bad luck. He only signs on the 8.
Really?
It's like a real thing.
Really?
He said it's he's been superstitious about it, and he told me, he's like, no, I won't sign the 7.
Really?
I'm telling you, look at jerseys.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's the 8's the only one signed.
That's fucking nuts.
It's the 8 or the 7. I think it's the 8. I know it's the 8 because I tried to show him the 7.
Yeah. Because it would have been a straight line if it was a 7.
Yeah,
it's way cleaner.
It's one of those numbers. I want to say
probably
I'm
the 7.
quoting it's the 8.
It's probably
but
the 7.
Every jersey is not signed on that number.
That's wild.
And he told me that. I was like,
damn, bro.
yeah, superstitious.
I love it.
That's interesting, right?
That's so cool. I love the little tidbit. You guys just got that straight from Mojo's mouth, man.
Yeah, 2019. That's crazy.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
brother. Thank you for jumping on, man. Always a pleasure with you.
Always
I'm
great,
sure
man.
we're
Love
gonna
what
hang
you're
out
doing,
some more.
bro.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it,
I
man.
love being in Canada, man.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, bro.
No, man. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
Guys, thank you
Subscribe,
very much.
like,
Yes,
comment.
Mojo Sports LLC everywhere.
Yes, we
There
got
you
you.
go. Appreciate
All right.
you, man.
Is there any coffee?
Yeah. Can we get him a coffee?
I'll take a coffee. I'll take a coffee after that.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got Kyle Kravitz, King of the Cards here, joined at the Canada Sports Cards Group booth at the expo. Man, I have seen you at 3, maybe 4 expos now that I've been to. I don't know if you've been coming longer than that, I think, right?
I've been to, I think this is like my 6th or 7th straight now. Yeah, haven't missed one.
And you keep coming back.
I will always come back.
Why?
It's the best show there is.
I love that.
It really is. Well, I'm a huge hockey fan. We've talked about this so many times, but this is my fix of hockey. Being in the U.S., I don't get any of this at shows.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, there's a table or two with some hockey. So this is just incredible. And the people, I always talk to you about the people, no better than the Canadian citizens that show more love than anyone I've ever seen.
You're pumping our tires right now, man.
No, I always do, because I think it really is a special place to come to and a special community. And I always just genuinely feel happy here and enjoy myself being at this show. So I love that. I will be back whenever I am allowed.
I love that. Also, I was talking to Jay about it, man. You guys are some of the only Americans I know with goddamn passports.
Yeah, no, we travel. We travel. I've had mine for a little while, so I got lucky on that front, but I have definitely had that.
It's wild, man. No one in the States, no one likes passports in the States. I don't know what's going on there.
They can't be having too much fun.
I guess so. Talk to me about, so you buy and sell a lot of cards, right? That's
I try.
Yeah. And spend a decent amount of money doing so on a regular basis at several different shows. I mean, you've been on a bit of a show bender lately. Like,
very much so.
Yeah. How many shows would you say in like the last 2 months?
2 months?
Or like
I mean, right now, this is week 4 of what'll end up being 7 straight weeks of me traveling.
Okay, that's crazy.
And it's
and
just
how many venues do you think during that time?
I was at the Chantilly show in the U.S. I took a trip to Milwaukee to host a trade night and go to Lambeau Field and a Bucks game. Last week, where was I last week? See, this is what happens. I just start literally forgetting what cities I was just in. I was just in
Dallas.
Dallas, thank you. You know my schedule.
Yeah.
Like I'm losing my mind actually. Now I'm here, and then next week I'm in Boston. The week after that's Thanksgiving. I'm going back up to New York to be with family, go to a Jets game, do content, and then the week after that I believe is Philly.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but I think every show has something different to offer. And I think for someone like myself, between the content and the deals themselves, that there's always something or both to be taken from every show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like worth going to 99 times out of 100.
Oh, absolutely. There's never been a show that I ever left going like that wasn't worth being there. Some are far better than others, but they're all worth it, and I enjoy all of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think this comes down to just appreciation for the hobby, right? And Jay and I were talking about this earlier on the stream. It's just, even what people talk a lot about, where we at in the market, up, down, some people are a little more cautious. I would say most people are more cautious right now. But that doesn't change, the fact that there's still, if you look around, this place is packed. It's going to get significantly more packed. These places, I mean, this is the biggest expo we've ever had. We've got Hall 5, or I don't know why I did it in order, but 3, 4, and 5 now. PSA is here for the first time ever. You've got more autographees than I've ever seen here. Mm-hmm. So the hobby continues to expand regardless of what comps look like, and that's actually something I wanted to talk to you about as someone who buys and sells a lot. We see some of these comps. How easy is it to sell at comps? How do you feel about comps? How do comps factor into the equation for you when it comes to buying and selling?
Well, there's a lot of factors in what's happening in the market right now, and between kind of the economic side of things, but also taking a deeper look at what is actually, people are saying the market's crashing or it's in a terrible place.
Always.
When you dig in to what is selling for less, it starts to make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the quarterbacks you were investing in, that you were spending absurd amounts of money on some of their hits that never were warranted to begin with. Believe it or not, those settling down, even if they're performing, is not, that's not that there's an issue within the market. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that there's some big-time cards that are sliding down as well. Again, economic issues that we're dealing with, but also I think those are adjustments, and they're healthy.
Yep.
A lot of this stuff did not deserve the clip that it was selling at to begin with. So that's that part of it for me. I think that a lot of people need to take a deep breath and really think through why some of this stuff might be where it is or come down from where it was. In terms of using comps, a lot of issues with the numbers that pop up, whether or not they're paid for, whether they were legitimate, depending on the platforms they're on. What's important to notice, and you and I think have talked about this previously, that the whole system we're in valuing cards is very arbitrary. Yeah. It doesn't really hold a lot of weight.
No. Well, because like just you can tell someone it's $800, but if no one wants to pay $800, then like what is it really worth?
Because someone will say that, oh, last one did this, and having one person buying a card dictate what it is now worth is kind of absurd. Yes. So I tell people with cards that are selling 5 times a week, all in the same kind of price range, give or take, that's the market value of that card. Yeah. But when there's cards that pop up once every few months, and you're telling me that with the market changing and things maneuvering, that the sale of that card at this point, months ago, one time, that somebody bought it now, that's the value of the card? Not necessarily. Yeah. Like, run it on auction right now. Once I run it on auction for a week, is that the value? 2,000 people saw it. Does it not mean that someone would have paid more? Does it not mean that that person might have overpaid because they wanted the card badly? It's all arbitrary. There's no factored numbers. It's interpretation. It's knowing what you're buying, when you're buying it, how you're buying it. That's what it all is. So using comps is the system we've all fallen back to because it's the only thing that provides any sort of framework. Yeah. But there's a lot of issues with it.
Yeah. I also think to a certain extent that like if the comp fails you, it's like almost someone to blame, you know? Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like the market in general, people get scared of buying something and looking like an idiot when like the price goes down, right? Sure. Especially if they flip. I mean, if you're buying something for the sake of buying it and like just holding it, I mean, there's a lot of times where I've overpaid. Like I've like I mean, we were at the Bay Area Card Show. Shout out Bay Area Card Show. And I saw a PC item of mine. I mean, I'm a diehard Allen Iverson fan. I have been my whole life.
Yeah, you showed me that, I remember.
Absolutely love him. And I saw an Atomic Rookie PSA 9, and I've never seen one in person. Like, there's a card I've literally never seen in person. I didn't even bother looking at comps. I literally asked the guy how much you want for it, and I think he said like $400 all in. I was like, you know what, I'll take it. Doesn't matter. I didn't even care about comps. Doesn't matter.
Well, that's the
right because like I can't find this card. I can't find this card. So it doesn't matter.
That's the example right there.
Oh, let's
How you doing, sir? Yes, go Isles. Go Isles. Hey, Isles are more important than anything. So.
Yeah.
But
don't worry.
You know, in terms of in terms of having a card like that and determining its value, I think that's a card where you have to go looking specifically for that card on auction to find it, and because it pops up so rarely, you're not going to, so you don't search for it. And then one runs for a week auction, you missed it, and it runs at a couple $100. Is that the value of that card now? A special card like that that's so desirable?
I think it's like a pop 6. You know?
Right, it's like if you put that in front of the right people, I wouldn't be surprised if it all of a sudden became an $800 to $1,000 card. Yeah. So cards like that, to me, the rules do not apply. Yeah. And I understand when people sticker them and tag them above it. If there's one listed right now that's sitting for $500, then you can't really argue with it because you can go buy it at that
and
price.
Like eBay is the biggest marketplace there is. You know what I mean? Like there's no bigger marketplace when it comes to buying and selling sports cards. So like if that thing's been sitting on eBay for a few days at that price and no one's willing to pay for it, then that kind of means something.
Right. Well, because you don't know, there's a lot of places that have them be available. I think there's groups like, Mascot, for example. Yes. It's one of the new groups. So they're doing some interesting stuff in terms of innovation on
being able to list on multiple platforms.
List on multiple platforms, but it really brings the platforms together. Yeah. I think, or if you go on...
Like if you buy from your eBay store, it takes you off all of the other ones.
Yeah. Right. And going on a platform like Alt even to kind of see what's available and being able to look at what they've sold for previously and an estimated market value, like that to me is,
How do they estimate market value?
So their algorithm, I don't give into the algorithm, but it's more so they put together some kind of equation that they feel reflects the card sales, the cards that are similar to its sales, the player sales, and I don't use that very much. But what they do is they get comps all in one place from all the platforms. So if something ran on Golden, eBay, PWCC all in a week, you get all those in one place, and then you get what's available at the bottom.
Oh, available is there as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting as well.
Right, so
it's all in one place.
That helps. And a card like you mentioned, specifically using that example of Iverson, it's like, all right, if I could see one's available, if there's none available, and the last one did this, but a year ago, being a Pop 6, it was triple the price. I don't know that it doesn't. I don't know that it matters what the market's done on a card like that. I think that it's still a very valuable card, and that somebody got away with one. Like, people make a lot of money just sitting there and sniping and knowing what's rare and what's not.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Have you been buying more PC stuff lately? Like, what are your parameters right now under these market conditions?
I'm always buying PC stuff. If I see something that
Manziel, bro, the Manziel PC grows.
Yeah, Johnny's. Johnny knows he's my guy. A cool thing, like collecting his stuff and forming some kind of relationship with him, at least being in some kind of touch, and he pops in to see the stuff when I tag him and everything. Like that's my guy. So anytime I see anything special of his, it doesn't matter time or place or market. It's like, all right, it's go time on that stuff. I have quite a few guys that I collect, and being here, my Islanders guys, being at the expo, like
we're rocking a John Tavares shirt, man.
I mean, always went through a lot with Johnny, put us through some pain for sure, but there's still a deeper love of like finding the game of hockey when I was that young, and going to my first games with him, having just been drafted and everything. And
2009, right?
Yeah, my first NHL game was his first NHL game. You were spoiled, man. That's not bad. Yeah,
he had exceptional status too when you guys drafted him. That's wild.
Number 1 overall pick, and went in there, played Sid in the Pens. I went to a penalty shootout, and I remember going to the game originally, even though I was in New York, just because all you saw in the U.S. on SportsCenter was Crosby and Ovechkin. So I wanted to go see Crosby, and I was rooting for Crosby. And was like a by default, just rooting for Crosby and whatever. And
in Long Island?
My first feel of an NHL game was Nassau Coliseum. And when I heard that place rock and I saw the passion of this fan base, it was just immediately had to be a part of it. So it was like, forget whatever I was seeing about hockey on SportsCenter or whatever, and they'd only show the Crosby and Ovechkin highlights. It was like, no, like I felt very at home there. I was an Islander fan from like the second I was in that arena at Coliseum and fell in love with it, and Johnny became my favorite player. So
I love that.
I collect any of that Islander stuff, and that's where my passion for hockey stems from.
I love it, man. You want to let everyone watching right now know where they can find you, and where they can support, where they can follow your journey, where they can find out where you're going to be at the next show?
I'm going to try to point to it. It's King of the Cards, spelled just like that in order. Make sure you get the K in cards, and I'm on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and got a lot of really cool content coming on a bunch of different platforms.
Sports Illustrated, let's talk a little bit about that really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go for it. So you recently signed a deal with Sports Illustrated to create content for them, which is a massive step for the hobby.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Are you excited? What some things in the work potentially?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Appreciate that. It's definitely something that's big with a name like Sports Illustrated to have an opportunity like that. I think that we're in the early stages and figuring out how to implement it, but I'm going to be providing, right now a nice handful of videos per month that will live on Sports Illustrated's pages on Instagram and TikTok, and hopefully that brings good exposure to the hobby and some more interest, and we're able to really get some good and important eyes on the hobby. You think about who follows Sports Illustrated. Everybody, big name athletes,
millions
of
followers.
Yeah, so it's all in an algorithm still. It's not easy to get anything to pop off no matter what. But a couple videos hitting the right way would do a lot for the content.
Just exposure in general, right? Like, I mean, even if someone scrolls through it, like at some point, like something might resonate. And that's kind of what it's about.
There will be a couple videos on special pieces of memorabilia, special stories, me with the athletes, and they get some good traction. I've been hearing a lot about this. I'm kind of interested in that. Where do I get started? And
I think it's just all about exposure, right? Like, I mean, for me, I mean, especially when I come to these shows, my love for jerseys comes out, right? And like, it doesn't really happen like when I'm at home, because like that stuff is sometimes in front of me, sometimes not. But like when it's put in front of you, you're like, man, like I still just as passionate about this stuff as I once was, right? So for some people that could be collecting, and collecting can look like anything. And I mean, I think that you being with Sports Illustrated definitely allows a lot of those people who are interested in sports to some degree kind of get access to that collecting side. And I mean, a lot of them are just waiting to tap into, essentially.
I tell people that the collectors we're going to reach are sports fans that don't know they're hobbyists yet.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of exposure.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of time. So that's what we're trying to make happen.
Couldn't agree more, man. I want to thank you so much.
Thank
Team,
you.
King of the Cards, Cards with a K, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
Yep.
YouTube. You need to check out his YouTube videos.
That's a little newer, but
but
they're
they're looking great, man. They're looking unreal. I appreciate that. And please follow along his journey. Support him. Sports Illustrated as well. I want to thank you again for coming on, man.
Man.
And always a pleasure
One of
having
the
you.
best.
Take care, everybody.